Here's innovation from Goyle that takes you further. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and Goyle has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New Goyle Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. Goyle. Good energy.
You're most welcome to a new era of banking at GCB Bank, where there are no long queues at the bank. Because you can enjoy swift access to your account anywhere, anytime with GCB e-banking solutions. Experience a world where you have financial convenience from a bank with integrity. A world where you can focus on your business and trust us to provide you with limitless business banking solutions that will take you to new heights. When you need a loan, sooner is better than later. So we give it to you in 24 hours to make sure the experience is memorable. Whatever you need, sir, we have an exceptional team of diverse professionals ready to serve you with a smile. Trust us with your money. We are bigger, better, safe, and ready to take you places beyond banking.
GCB Bank, your bank.
There's always that one individual so selfless and caring. The world still has caring people. Getting unexpected help is a joy for us. That's why at Prudential Life, we've introduced Ultimate, the no-lapse guarantee on your Premier and Classic farewell plans. The biggest challenge for most clients having a funeral policy is the fact that when they are unable to pay premiums due to financial challenges, the policies elapse and the full benefit falls off. We have introduced the no-lapse guarantee on our funeral plans. This ensures that you don't lose your full benefit during challenging financial moments. Prudential, always listening, always understanding.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Nsmq Review Show. It's a pleasure to come your way with yet another show that promises to be exciting. My name is Emmanuel Jivenu. You realize that today we are coming to you quite earlier than usual. This is because we want to make way for you to watch the Ghana match, or the match involving Ghana and Cameroon, and it's going to be a must-win competition for Ghana, and we wish the Black Stars very well in their endeavors. But on the show today, we are going to look at the last 3 days of one 8-stage competition here at the University of Ghana. You will know that some of the competitions have produced some shocking results that we'll be having all the analysis here on the Nsmq Review Show. And already seated to help in the analysis are 3 individuals who have followed the competition thick and thin, and they'll be bringing to bear what they witnessed at the last 3 days of competition here at the RS Amagashi Auditorium. And close to me is Stanley Koji Solomon, and he is with St. Peter's SHS. And in the middle is Stephen Yankee. He is with Primetime Limited, organizers of the National Science and Maths Quiz. And to my far left is Samuel Amedro, and he is with Achimota School. Gentlemen, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Stephen. Stanley, or what's the nickname? King Solos. Let me start with you. Your school just had their contest. They are defending champions. They won their competition with 55 points. Did you ever imagine they winning the contest by this margin?
Oh yes. Yes, we even expected more. Because I told you that we should win the Cup 2018, 19, and 20. So we are much poised for action.
But I mean, the first round, the likes of APAM SHS gave you a run for your money. At that time, you were very jittery that what is going to happen, except that they were able to maintain their momentum and took the lead in the second round. Did you ever see APAM giving you that kind of keen contest?
If you follow the contest, you see that the first round, they say it's basic knowledge and principle, testing basic knowledge and principle. So it's normal to every school. And you see, in quote, the school who want to show that they can also do something, you see them winning the first round or doing well in the first round. But from thereafter, you see that their gas get finished and we refill our cylinder and we move on. In fact, if you follow the trend, the less and that schools are performing well in the first round, and when it from the speed race, the seniors take over.
Stephen, does this reinforces the trend that we've had so far, that if you're able to lead by a gap of 15 or 12 in the second round, then it means that there's a done deal for you, you are going to win the competition?
Well, I think that's what we've seen over time, because after the second round, we are going into round 3, which is the problem of the day. There's no guarantee you're going to score 10 out of 10 to win the Prudential Life Nsmq Star. So if even at the end of round 3, you are in the lead with about 10 points or so, very likely if you take your time, answer your true or false statements, because you're not competing with anybody, you have your time. If you're able to answer your questions correctly and pick 1 or 2 riddles, then certainly that school is winning. That has been the trend, unless in cases where the schools lead only to drop points in round 4, and then the other schools can take over and win the contest. But it doesn't happen very often.
Absolutely. Yeah. Samuel, let me come to you again. The last contest, St. Peter's are reigning champions. What do you think APAM did that went against them not to have won this competition?
Well, I think APAM should have maintained their composure, but they got carried away by thinking that St. Peter's is the reigning champions, and the gaps kept entering their heads and they lost concentration. I think that really caused them.
Okay. But I mean, it's painful to see APAM SHS going home, especially looking at the points at which they are going home with. There are others like Prempeh College that ended their competition with 25 points.
Yeah.
Yes, they've qualified, but look at the scores. In fact, from the quiz mistress herself, she said it's painful to see them go home because of their performance over here. But unlike St. Peter's that seeded their school last year and they've retained it this year again, we have the like of St. Margaret Mary's SHS losing their seed. I mean, did you see this coming, Stephen?
Well, I saw it coming. I saw it coming. I saw them at the Greater Accra Regional Championships, and the performance was not the performance of a typical seeded school. I expected them to really come out strongly, but at the Regional Championship, it was not like that. So I was of the view that, okay, maybe they will go back to the drawing board and then try to put the team together. But I think that wasn't the case. So even if they did, we did not see that kind of performance today. I'm sure they will go back and come back strongly next year.
Yeah, I'm told they presented Form 2 students this year, but unfortunately, perhaps they may have learned great experience from this place and go back to the drawing table to make sure that they clean up their act and come and do wonders. But Stephen, Kinsolos, again, the first contest of the day, we saw Ibri girls losing their seed. Was he expected?
Yes. Yes, we had our regional championship, and their performance, we could see that the team was not too strong this year. And coming against the like of the other schools, it was clear that they were going to lose their seeded spot.
Did you also see this coming, Samuel?
Not at all. I might say we have not gotten that opportunity, or we didn't get the opportunity to meet them. So we were actually expecting them, judging from their performance last year, to really improve on it. So I was really surprised by their output today.
I think I was more surprised by the performance of Pandu. In fact, in that contest, I was rather expecting Kumasi High School to have won.
And I'm sure your position is reinforced by their performance at the regional qualifiers.
Yes, at the regional qualifiers, and also consistently being at the semi-finals over the last 4 or 5 years. So to have come from the regionals, I mean, St. Peter's did that last year. They came from regionals, and they showed that in that year, 2018, they were going to win the trophy. I mean, everything showed clearly when they were answering their true or false statements correctly at almost every stage of the competition, if I'm right. And the Kumasi High performance today was not the typical Kumasi High. And I think everybody wrote Pando off.
Certainly.
Everybody thought it was a 2-horse race. But I mean, that's when Pando also rose to the occasion. First school from the Volta region to make it to quarterfinals. Not a bad feat at all.
Absolutely. Yeah. Congratulations to Pansek as you go into the quarterfinals. But they are going to, going to meet another stiff opposition from St. Peter's, as well as what's the name? Tiamas.
Yes,
Kumasi. But we hope they put up a good performance in that particular contest. But let's go to Thursday. On Thursday, we had 3 contests as usual. The first one involving St. John's Grammar, Bishop Herman College, as well as Ghana National College. Ghana National College was our seeded school last year, but unfortunately, they are one of the 10 schools that have lost their seed. I mean, Stephen, Kinsolos, did you see this coming?
Ghana National.
Ghana National, they lost their seed this year, and they lost it to the likes of St. John's Grammar, our 2012 finalist.
In fact, I didn't follow them too much, but from the regionals, when we follow up, we follow St. John's, we realized that they were doing something. As I said, this thing is just, it takes one person for a year to do something extra for the school. You get one extra student in a year and can do something for your school. And I saw St. John Grammar having that thing more than Ghana National for this year.
We also saw Tepa also taking another seed, taking it from Islamic SHS as well as Awudome. Yes. I mean, shocking results.
I was not surprised by the Tepa performance. I mean, I had heard about them from the Ashanti regional competition, so I knew that they were in for business. Last year, even when they came, I remember Abrifi came last year. She wasn't bad at all. So to have exited the competition last year, I knew they were going into this year's competition really prepared. And that is what we saw when they came on stage.
Another school that cemented its seed was the Accra Academy going into their competition. Many have expected more from them, but they didn't really put up a good performance. But they won their competition and have seeded their school for next year's nationals. But let's come back to Prempeh College. This is a school that had a lot of pedigree going into the competition, even though they won their competition. But the scores wasn't as we expected.
Yeah.
They won with 25 points, while their contenders only end up coming out with 17 points. I mean, Samuel, how did that go for you? You'll be meeting them anyways.
Yes, St. Peter's is
Prempeh College.
Prempeh College, very highly rated, and we expected some explosive works from them, but it didn't turn out that way. But the saying goes that a dead lion is still fearful. So the fact that they didn't get high scores doesn't mean that they don't have the potentials there. And I know that they are going to go back to the drawing board and pick up from where they fell, I think. So they are going to come up. I believe strongly in that.
I mean, Stephen, this is not Prempeh College. Something may have gone wrong, isn't it? Or we should start writing them off from this year's National Science and Maths quiz.
Well, I think a win is a win. So it is fair that they won that contest. I mean, their scores not encouraging because 25 can be somebody's round one score. So let's wait and see how their quarter-final contest will be. Yes, let's just wait and see for the quarter-final.
And another contest that happened that day was the one involving your school, Achimota, 2-time champions of the National Science and Maths quiz. In fact, many describe that contest as the clash of the titans because St. Thomas Aquinas also has another, it's a strong team going into that particular competition, but they were able to do it, but in a nail-biting manner. I mean, when it got to the last round, did you see yourself coming through?
Yes, I still had hope because you look at my students' composure on stage. They were not carried over by the heat of events. And I might give the credit to Primetime. I think Primetime gave us the opportunity to develop that kind of composing ourselves throughout the regional championship. So when I was sitting down there, I was just watching their composure, and the way they were composed, I knew that any line that passes their way, they will pick it. So I wasn't surprised at the last minute. But it was the speed race that really shocked me because in the regional championship, we dealt with Aquinas very well in the speed race. So this time...
I mean, they were in fact seeking revenge against you, but unfortunately, you re-stood your grounds to make sure that you dominated the competition and you won it again.
So I think our speed race, this time around, we got it wrong. And we have to work on it and come up better. But I think Aquinas is a good school to go out at this stage. Well,
unfortunately, it's a competition. It's a competition. But finally, there was one competition that also happened that day, and at long last, we're waiting to see which all-female school would make it through to the quarterfinals. Now we have one. Wesley Girls High School was able to make it, and in fact, they did so well to qualify their school to the quarterfinals. I mean, going into the quarterfinals, we are going to meet the likes of Prempeh College as well as Achimota, who have won the competition before. Can they succumb the pressure from these two schools, Stephen?
Well, put simply, I think with what we saw from Wesley Girls on stage that day when they competed, and with the kind of support we've been seeing over the last 2 years. Last year, the support from their old students was massive. I have never seen such support from old students of Wesley Girls High School before in this competition. What we saw yesterday was even more, much more than what we saw last year. So if the girls are really going to be well composed on stage, I tip them above the two schools.
Yeah,
I see Wesley Girls going through.
Thank you, and we wish them all the best. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming onto the show. But before we wrap up, let's take some of your comments that have been coming through our Facebook page. And Bright Ann say, you will do all. APAM students will cry on. Nana Kwesi Ansu says, youth of St. Peter's, our standard is raised from east, north, and south. True dignity of our human race. I'm sure that is the anthem, the St. Peter's anthem he's trying to write down here. Bashiru Yahuza says, volume very okay. We'll try to rectify that. Nana Ama Danchere says, Solomon Stanzi Koji, King Solos near. All right. Luther Bedu says, Pesco has been impressive. Wahin Anna said, I like the discussion. Thank you very much for liking our discussion. Bashiru Yahuza against us, waiting for the Ghana match. Okay, we will try and make sure once we are done with the competition, you can go and watch your the match involving Ghana and Cameroon. But this is where we end or we wrap up the show here from the University of Ghana. My name is Emmanuel Jiveno, and until we come your way next time, it's bye-bye from here. But do well to say a prayer for the Black Stars as they take on Cameroon. Bye-bye.